And we are live. It's the Revved Up 906 podcast, a Detroit Pistons podcast to be exact. And I'm Ryan. Tonight was a tough one. We fall to the Bulls 119 to 108. It was one of those games from the get-go, from the start to the finish, where it seemed like we were in it, but we weren't really in it. And that's been pretty much the whole last couple games for us. It seemed like every stretch of the way, we could have had the possibility of either taking the lead or continuing on a stretch, but then something happens and we stall out. And a big reason for that is turnovers. I'm just gonna say it out there right now. Turnovers are hurting us badly. And tonight it was down compared to what it has been on previous nights, which is good. It shows improvement. But from the beginning, even till now, it's been turnovers as a reason why we're losing these games. The Bulls had 20 plus points off of turnovers alone from us. And at the end of the day, as close as we kept it at the end and as close as we kept it throughout the whole game, turnovers were our downfall. And even scoring the ball for us tonight was harder than it had been previously. You saw Cade Cunningham in 38 minutes only have 10 points, 4 of 15 from the field, 0 of 5 from three. Was 100% the line, though, making 2 free throws. He did have 2 blocks, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds, too. But the Bulls just were making Cade uncomfortable all night long. They weren't letting him get into his spots, at least in the spots that Cade feels comfortable with, and that really threw him off. And so in that situation, when you have your best player cold, it's tough to have the team rally around that. But I truly believe, and a lot of you out there believe, that this Pistons team is deeper than it has been in years past. Therefore, we shouldn't necessarily have to worry if Cade is having a cold night because somebody's going to step up. We did have 2 guys step up. And honestly, it was more of like we had 4 guys step up. But the 2 that I want to make note of are Alec Burks coming back off injury, and then Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox, welcome back to Detroit. First game as a Piston this season. If you recall, we traded him at the deadline last year in a package deal with Sadiq Bey to the Golden State Warriors in exchange for James Wiseman. And he did end up finishing out. He got traded to Portland right after and finished out the season in Portland. And then Portland released him and made him available, and we picked him up. We signed him on Wednesday. But this was a great first game with the new coaching staff for the Pistons. And this is it's just the perfect game to start off with. It seemed like whenever we had issues getting a shot up or even moving the ball or spacing, Kevin Knox stepped up when it mattered the most. Tonight, in 24 minutes in his debut this season with the Pistons, he finished with 18 points, a steal, assist, 3 rebounds, 4 of 5 from 3, and 7 of 8 from the field. You can't get better than that. I mean, obviously you can because he missed the 1 shot. If he didn't miss that shot, which he was on a streak at that time, I mean, that would have been a perfect game. But no, seriously, he had a great game, especially with Monty Williams and this new coaching staff that really have only seen Kevin Knox in opposing wise in terms of playing against him. They haven't seen him up close and personal. And so practicing all week since Wednesday, leading up to this game, and then he comes out here in 24 minutes and is that effective. That's a great first step. It really opens the door on the possibilities of him being with us the remainder of the season. And I hope, based off this game alone, that he's with us the remainder of the season. I mean, going into last year, I was sitting here saying, even though Kevin Knox has not really had a clear foot in the door and he struggled everywhere he's been, I was kind of hoping he'd stick with us for a little bit because I still see the potential that everybody else saw in him originally. He's still one of those guys that is scratching the surface of what he can do. And he's still relatively young. I believe he's 24 right now still. But the point is, what he did tonight is a key example of what he can do on a regular basis if he's given the opportunity to. And I understand, let's be realistic here. The Bulls did not game plan for Kevin Knox tonight. I don't think anybody in their right mind would have game planned for a guy that signed with them on Wednesday. So with that being said, they weren't really worried too much about Kevin Knox going into tonight. Weren't expecting him to play pretty much. But Kevin Knox stepped up, and you can really appreciate that, not just as a fan of the NBA, but as a fan of the Pistons. This guy worked his tail off for us last year. We move him. That can be heartbreaking at times, but he still wanted to come back. And the fact that he came back and he had this big of a game in his debut this season with us after being traded away last year at the deadline, this is a very good first impression for him with the new regime in Monty Williams and Jarrett Jack and Steven Silas. The list goes on, and this is a very good first game for him. Alec Burks in 21 minutes, 16 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 100%, 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 of 6 from 3, and 3 of 7 from the field. For a game in which we hadn't seen him the last couple of weeks and or games with a left arm contusion, it's nice to see him back out there, especially because he's one of those high-end scoring players for our team. And when you don't have that, you can tell. And then tonight, he gave us a cushion in which we could make a little mistakes here and there and still come back out of it. And it was evident tonight because time and time again, we still kept coming into the game with him out there in the second unit. I mean, it proved to be a valuable asset once again. We saw Isaiah Stewart have 17 points, 2 assists, 11 rebounds, 2 of 4 from the line, 3 of 5 from the 3, and then 6 of 13 from the field. Again, he's been on a tear recently, and it's been unfortunate not having Dern out there with him from on occasion now, because Dern is still dealing with that ankle issue that he's been having. But still, Stu has been on a tear, and he's proving, like, last year to this year, how big of a jump he's taken even more so. Last year, he developed a three-point shot. This year, he took his game and took it up a notch. And that's all you can hope for, not only as Pistons fans, but just hoping for the player in the overall department. And I'm happy with his performance. There's no complaints from him. We saw Asar. Asar has been a beast all season long on the glass. Before tonight's game, he was 5th in the league, not just rookies, 5th in the all the players, 5th in the league for rebounds in total. And that is just mind-boggling, but also very impressive because you think of how many high-end rebounders there are. We played against one of them tonight in Andre Drummond, former Piston there. And then you have like Rudy Gobert, Jared Allen, Draymond Green, etc. You have all these guys that are high-end rebounders, and yet you have a rookie and Asar Thompson come in to the league this year and be 5th on that list. That is pretty darn impressive. Tonight, he had 16 rebounds, 9 points, a block, 2 assists, 5 of 7 at the line, 0 of 1 from 3, and then 2 of 9 from the field in 32 minutes played. Now, there are a lot of people that are like complaining that he's not scoring a bunch, or there's nights where he's scoring a lot but not hitting the glass. And you can't have it one way or the other with him because it really matters what the opposing team is giving us, and that's going to be the result of what we see out of Asar. If they're really just, our team can't score, they're locking down us, Asar is going to take that foot forward and go like, yeah, I got to step up my offensive game. I need to be the scorer here. Or there's times where we're scoring the ball pretty darn good, and we're not boxing out the way we should. Asar is going to hit the glass. The mindset for him really is, what will the opposing team give me? What will they give me an opportunity to do? And I'm going to go out there and do it. And so I applaud him because he's not playing like a rookie. He's playing like a seasoned vet. And I can only sit back and applaud Weaver for this selection, because me and Hudson last year in the off season there, talking about potential draft picks for the Pistons and who we would like to see coming in. We hyped up Taylor Hendricks a lot. I haven't really been keeping a close eye on him. Last time I checked, he really hasn't been playing a whole lot. But I was really hoping for him, because I was kind of worried that because Asar and Amon tested out in the draft as guards, that maybe that might push Weaver and others away from taking him. But that was clearly not the case, and I'm happy that Weaver made that call. Even though I wouldn't have mind having Taylor Hendricks, I'll be honest. Even though I haven't seen his play too much this season, but that Asar, his overall game thus far just blows that out of the water, and I'm thrilled that we ended up with him, because I think he's a key staple in our offense and in our team going forward, and I'm happy he's here. Marvin Bagley, 14 points, a block, assist, 5 boards, 2 of 2 at the line, 0 of 1 from 3, and 6 of 12 from the field in 23 minutes played. This was a good game for him. Every single time Duren's been out, he's filled that center spot and has nailed it. In regards to the battle between him and Wiseman, we actually saw both of them playing again tonight. Wiseman in 14 minutes, 6 points, 2 blocks and a steal, 2 rebounds, 0 of 1 from 3, and 3 of 6 from the field. It wasn't a terrible game out of him, but it wasn't like I'm blown away. On defense, I have one big critique, and that is every single time he would go for the block. And yeah, it's one thing if you're a fantastic shot blocker and you're going to get the block pretty much every single time. But with Wiseman, even though he has that length and that shot blocking ability, he doesn't know the difference between blocking a shot and contending a shot. Because there were so many times where if you're going for the block, that, like Andre Drummond as an example, like Wiseman had to guard him a lot tonight. Drummond is a seasoned vet. He knows how to have a hook shot go up or a floater. He knows how to beat somebody in the paint. And so he's obviously going to know how to beat Wiseman in the paint, because Wiseman's inexperienced. He doesn't have as much as Drummond has in terms of experience, but also like Drummond knows what to do in that situation. And then even Nikola Vucevic, when he was out there and Wiseman had to guard him, he was still beating him. And that's my one big critique from tonight, is every single time, no matter what shot it was, Wiseman was immediately going for the block and not contesting the shot. If you contest the shot and get both arms up, there's not much more that like Nikola Vucevic or Andre Drummond could have done. Like, imagine having essentially a tower in front of you. You can't, it's so much harder to get a shot up that way than it is having somebody swipe down on you, because you can maneuver that. And so that's my one big critique from Wiseman tonight, is every single time he just went for the block, wouldn't contest a shot. And his defense overall was subpar. He had those 2 nice blocks early on, but then his defense just wasn't there. He wasn't reacting the way he should have. He kept getting beat. He kept going for blocks. Now I understand that you may think I'm critiquing or criticizing him way too hard, but he hasn't played too much for us this season, just based off desire alone. Does he have the desire to go out there and play for us? And we're seeing flashes from time to time, but like nights like tonight where he was given the opportunity, like this is the most minutes he's played for us this season in a game. And so like he's been given the opportunity right there, and he's just like, he's not hitting the success rate that he should be hitting. And so I'm a little worried. This is me just criticizing him a little bit, just friendly fire, hoping that I don't think he's going to watch this. But if you do see this, like just pick up the little things. And I know Monty and Jared Jack and Steven Silas and the whole gang is going to be talking to him about his game tonight and what they need to address going forward. I know that for a fact. Killian Hayes tonight, 25 minutes, 7 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 of 3 from 3, and 3 of 8 from the field. There are a lot of you out there that question why he's even in the starting lineup, but there's a reason. And it's not just because he's a great defender and a great passer, but his presence overall. I think him and Cade, as even though a lot of people are out there going, yeah, that's not a good combo. I'd rather see Cade and Jaden Ivey. I'd rather see Cade and Marcus Sasser. I'd rather see Cade and Alec Burks. Killian just complements Cade a little bit differently, to the point where the difference between Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Marcus Sasser, and Alec Burks is Killian Hayes is more of a facilitator than those guys are. And that's not a blow towards them, because Marcus Sasser is really good in the pick and roll. He knows when to take his shot. Alec Burks, he at times he's a fabulous facilitator, but at times he also knows, like, I'm not a point guard, but I'm going to try my best to get the ball moving. Jaden Ivey is more so, I'm going to fly all over the place and try and get you the ball at times, but also look for my shot, but also look for others. Whereas Killian, his mindset the entire time outside of defense and looking for his shot is, I'm going to facilitate and get the ball to everyone. And Killian has done that every single game this season, even though 3 assists tonight wasn't the highest he's had this season so far in a game. But at the end of the day, Killian out there is actually relieving the Cade, and it benefits the team. Now, I'm not sitting here going like, Monty, you can't change the lineup. I want Killian Hayes out there. I personally like Killian Hayes a lot. A lot of you don't, and I understand that. I understand why. He hasn't given us much. But at the end of the day, if he's going out there and you're seeing the effort there and you see that he wants to be out there and wants to play for the Pistons and is just facilitating the ball the right way and just getting good looks for others, then I don't care if he's starting or not, because at the end of the day, he's doing his job, and that's all you can hope for. Marcus Sasser tonight was on the quieter end, 5 points, and a steal, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 of 3 from 3, and 2 of 6 from the field. It was one of those games for him. It was more so everybody else was getting a shot up versus him tonight, and that's going to happen with rookies, and that's going to happen with overall NBA players in general. Is one night they're going to be hot, or they're going to be on a stretch of just shooting 10 plus shots a night, and then all of a sudden they're going to guard you a little differently because they're going to game plan for you. And that's what the Bulls did tonight. The game plan for Sasser locked him up from potentially taking certain shots, forced him to pass the ball, and that's really what happened tonight. DeMar DeRozan, 29 points. Nikola Vucevic, 21 points, 12 boards. Kobe White finally stepped up. Last time we played him, he was non-existent. 16 points, 7 assists, 2 steals. Zach LaVine, thank the Lord we held him below 50. He had 19 points, a steal, 2 assists, and 3 boards. The point is, like, even Ayo Dosunmu, 13 points tonight, 4 steals, 3 assists, 1 board. All these guys, it was just a great overall game for the Bulls. They couldn't do anything wrong. They only had 6 turnovers, which if you have below 10 turnovers in a single night, chances are you're going to win the game. So the fact that the Pistons were even able to come back in the way they did at times, it is very impressive. But at the end of the day, I have no complaints here, other than Wiseman, stop trying to block the shot, just contest. It's easier than blocking the shot, and there's going to be a higher success rate on the defending end of the ball if you're going to contest a shot than block a shot. But that will do it for tonight's recap. The final score, 119-108 in the Bulls' favor. We will see you guys next time. Peace.